Who am I? Why am I here? What's the purpose of this life? These are questions that I'm constantly asking myself. And if you ask someone who knows me, they might say, oh, Willy is a rock star, he plays in Powerslide. What is Powerslide? Powerslide is a punk rock band that I started 10 years ago with my two friends, Creed and Samuel. Sam and Creed and I weren't really musicians, we just skated together and we had the same taste in music. So eventually we thought, oh, we should form a band. I had been playing guitar for a few years. I picked up my friend's guitar and just went on YouTube and started learning how to play this song. Sam, our bassist, knew how to play bass from who knows where, but now our drummer Creed, he had never played drums before he joined the band, but that didn't really matter to us. So we started the band. Well, initially we really, but we started working, we're practicing harder and harder. Eventually we had a growing fan base, people would come to see us. There was this place that we played every single Sunday of the month. It's called Barclays Plaza back in town. Those were some really fun memories. Now this is way back in 2016 when it was all just fun and games. We didn't know what we were doing. Now it comes to 2017 and we start getting more serious about it. We start practicing more, we start producing and releasing music. And in 2017 we made a really big decision to record our first album. Now we had no experience in doing this, and so we had no idea what to expect, but we still did it. So in 2017 June, I essentially moved into the studio. There was this home studio that our friend and producer Harvey was running. So essentially I stayed at the studio for 6 months when we're doing this album. And it had so many of its own challenges because one, usually when you're recording an album, you have like a team of sound engineers and whatnot, and they'll help you do that. But when I was doing it, Harvey was like, okay, this is what you do, this is how you do it, now go do it. So essentially, he was teaching me how to produce music on my own so that I wouldn't need to do it with him. So I started learning how to use the softwares, I started learning how to do the cabling, how to do the miking, and I slowly started recording guitars, and then disaster struck. KPLC turned off our lights because we had like an outstanding bill. And now we were in the darkness. But we managed to figure out a hack. One of our friends whom we were staying with managed to like plug into like the power grid Chinyamaji. So what we were doing is, since people knew that we didn't have lights, it would be sudden if we have lights all of a sudden, what we would do is we would wait for everyone to go and sleep, go plug in the lights to Nyamaji, and then have electricity from like midnight, and then when people are waking up at 6, we go back outside and unplug the electricity. So for months and months, my daily routine was, well, when I was at the studio, my job was essentially like being a gardener. I was turning like compost heaps, I was cutting grass and making hay bales, and so each hay bale for each hay bale I'd get paid like 400 bob. So I'd make like 2 hay bales a day, I'd cut some grass, I'd turn the compost, and then this is during the day. And then from around midnight all the way till 6 a.m. I'm recording guitars, I'm recording vocals, I'm learning to produce. So we keep doing this, we keep getting better at it, and eventually our album comes out. It was called Cheshire Grin, and this came out in 2019. I'm glad with the way it came out. The audience received it well. We had a lot of push with it. We got a lot of publicity. People were inviting us on TV. They were inviting us on radio. We were having radio plays. We were getting shows. But now our bassist, Sam, decided to leave the band. And things got tough, but we still kept pushing. That same year, we released a video called Cheshire Grin, which allowed us to win an award for Best Music Video. That same year, we were invited to play in Germany and in the Netherlands and in Reunion Island, but unfortunately, we weren't able to go because of financial limitations, but we still kept pushing. That was a really, really hard year, actually. in 2019. My job was actually to go to town with my guitar, and I'd set up somewhere in the street and I just play music. So I remember my spot was, I don't know whether you know, the Naivas right outside Aga Khan Walk. So I'd go there with my guitar, I set up just right in the streets. I had a hat that I put on the ground, and then I just play guitar for hours and hours and sing. And it was a very, very humbling experience, because when you're on the stage, it's like, yeah, everyone's here to see you, people are paying money to see you, it's all about you. But now when you're busking, when you're out in the street, no one owes you anything, no one should give you any attention just because you're there, and you're right there on the ground with everyone, you're not raised above on a stage. So it really brought out humility in me. It showed me like, okay, how to connect with the people, because I'd go there so many days that I'd become used to everyone that was around me, and I'd be like, oh, these are the people that are gonna come and look for food in this dustbin. There's the hawkers who are gonna come and sell their clothes over here. And it made me really feel connected to them, and it made me really appreciate, like, especially the watchmen who'd come and like drop a few coins in my cap, because I know especially watches don't make much money. So even if you'd come and like drop like a couple shillings, it's not worth much, but to me the value of that, it was so important. And how like I could see someone walk by and then they walk all the way there, and then they come back and then like drop a few coins in my cap. Well, it was so hard that I couldn't do it 2 days in a row. My fingers would literally be dead from that one day. But it taught me so much, and it taught me humility. But now we wanted to push it even forward and record more music. So in 2019, we started working on our next album, our second album. Now we did this in a completely different way from the first album. Instead of me going into the studio, I brought the studio to me. So I was staying at my dad's house, and I started building my own studio setup at home so I could record everything that I needed for the album at home. So now, since our bassist had left the band, the recording process for this second album was very different from the first album. With the first album, it was, okay, I'd come up with an idea, and this guy would come up with an idea, and this guy would bring his own ideas, and then we mesh it together. And then eventually a song comes out. But with the second album, it was kind of a very different process, because since the band wasn't really able to play, and I had the whole studio set up at home, I could essentially be doing the roles of the band members on my own. So instead of playing with a band, I started writing the songs in my head. I'd write, okay, this guitar is going to sound like this guitar is going to sound like this, the bass part is going to sound like this, the drums will sound like this. And then once I have it figured out in my head, I go take my guitar, plug it into the computer, and then record. That's how I did so many songs. So this is 2020, COVID has hit, everyone in the world is panicking, but for me, I'm in my comfort zone because I'm at home, I'm making music, that's all I need to do. So we worked on that for a very long time. We tried to diversify our sound. Initially, our sound was like straightforward punk rock, but on the second album, we tried to have a variety of different sounds. Every song on the album sounds different from the song before it. So for me, that was the most intense thing I'd ever done at that point in time, because I'm writing the songs, I'm writing the bass parts, the guitar parts, the drum parts, I'm doing all the engineering, I'm doing all the recording, I'm doing all the production. So literally I'm just eating and breathing music. That's all that I did. So years go by, and eventually we released the album in 2023. The album is called Heavy Metal and Flowers. So I'm thinking to myself like, okay, this is it. This album is gonna change everything. This album is gonna completely change the game. It came out on September 23rd. So September 23rd gets here, we release the album, crickets. Absolute crickets. No one talked about it, there were no reviews, he wasn't getting played on the radio, he wasn't being added to playlists. It's like it just didn't happen. before the album came out, we had a few singles which had really good traction, and we made really good videos, which we actually won an award for. So I thought, okay, this is the amount of momentum we brought this far. So once the album comes out, it's gonna bring everything together. But the album came out and I was so dejected. To me, it completely took away my confidence, because before the Power Slide album was okay, that was Power Slide, it was the whole band. But with this album, it was essentially, I was writing the songs, I was doing the singing, I'm doing the production. The songs were so personal to me. I was writing about God, I was writing about depression, I was writing about domestic abuse, I was writing about the environment, I was writing about self-realization. And all of these things I put into my music, and then you put it out there and nothing happens. So I start questioning myself. I think like, okay, what's wrong here? Because I put so much work into this. I put 4 years into my life. I never worked this hard on anything my entire life. And it comes out and it's like nothing. And at the same time, our drummer Creed had left the band. And remember when I told you that our old bassist Sam had left the band, he started another band called Duma with our friend Martin Kanja. So Sam and Martin, we worked together on our first album, Cheshire Again. So these guys have gone out and created their own band, and they've had so much success. These guys are touring Europe. They're one of the few bands who actually managed to tour the US. And I'm sitting here thinking like, yo, I was in a band with Sam, I was making music with Martin. These guys, clearly, they're having success. Am I the problem? Am I the one who was holding them back? Because we're both making music. We made music together and you were successful. They made music on their own and you were successful. But when I make music without them, where is the success? So I felt very dejected for a long time. And I took that as such a personal, I don't know, I took it so personally, too personally than I should have, but I guess I was a bit young at that time. I took it so personally that at some point I even just stopped playing guitar. I stopped trying to book shows. Well, we didn't have a drummer either, so it was very difficult to book shows. I kind of transitioned from making rock music, and now I started making house music. So I slowly started making house music just for fun, because all I know is making music. I started making house music, it starts getting a bit of traction, people start playing it, and then I think, okay, this house music is kind of having people move, it's giving them a good energy, which is what I wanted with Power Slide, which is why we started it, because it would make people dance, it would make people feel good. So with the house music, I'm saying, okay, it's getting so much play. It's getting played everywhere. It's getting played in Ibiza. It's getting played in Miami. It's getting played in clubs all over the world. So I think, okay, maybe I actually do know how to make music, and I shouldn't take it so personally as of the outcome of the previous album. So I keep making house music as Candyman. That's my house music persona. At this point, I very rarely even listen to rock. I kind of completely shut that part of my life. I listen to it once in a while, but most of the time I just listen to house music. I had not gone to a concert for years. When I go out, it's just listening to house music. The events are house music events. I'm making music with Candyman. I'm okay making music, but at the same time, I kind of feel like there's something missing. No matter how happy or how much success I would get with Candyman, you would never compare to how happy or how much joy I would get from being in Power Slide. But still, I was thinking to myself, okay, our original drummer is gone. At this point, it was just myself and we had gotten a new bassist. So I was thinking to myself, okay, we have one album out, we have so many great memories, we have another album out. I'm so proud of myself because of how hard I worked on that album. And even though people didn't love it, or it didn't seem like people loved it, I loved it. So that was okay for me. And at that point I was thinking, If I go the rest of my life without playing in power slide again, that would be perfectly fine for me. I would be at peace because I've had so much memories and I've had so much love with the people in that band that I'd be perfectly fine just not doing it again. Now we get to 2025. There's this event organizers, they're called We're Loud. They're an international event, but they wanted to have the festival in Africa for the first time. So they chose Nairobi. Now this was a huge event. They had some bands from all over the world. They had bands from the US, from Europe, from South Africa, and they had so many Kenyan bands too. It was a festival from Thursday to Sunday, and it was booked every single day. So these guys came and reached out to us and said, okay, we're having this festival, would you guys like to play? And mind you, at this point, it had been years since we'd performed. It had been who knows how many months since I'd even played guitar. I'd even wanted to give it away because I thought, I'm not using it, I might as well give it to someone who's using it. So these guys reached out to us, and I think to myself, okay, if these guys came all the way from the US, that means our music could reach them all the way there. And if they came here, all the way here, just to listen to it, it must mean that it's connecting with them. So slowly by slowly, the band is starting to practice. We're doing shows again. We got a new drummer. We get back into playing shows, and I just start to remember what made me fall in love with music again, what made me fall in love with playing guitar, what made me fall in love with singing. It's being out there, being with the crowd, feeling their energy, they're giving you their energy. It's even beyond what I can put into words. So we get back into the studio. No, we get back into performing. We get back into the groove of things with a new drummer, and then people start coming up to me and being like, oh, we're so glad that you came back. Like, the music that you made is actually so important to me. There was the last concert that we played, there's this girl that came up to me and literally started crying, telling me about how much she values us and how important our music was to us. So I'm really glad that I got to have, in hindsight, I'm glad that I got to have that place where I'm so focused on music and I have these high expectations, and then they all collapse. And after that, I get to this place where I'm just making music because it's making me dance, because it's making other people dance, because it's fun. So that's the whole point. So I went from taking the skills and the practice for production and all of that, and the love I had from Power Slide, and the lessons I learned from making house music, which is just do it because you love it. Do it because you want to make people dance. Do it because you want to make people happy. You shouldn't do it because you want to change the world, or you want to go on tour, or you want to sell who knows how many albums. This helped me learn that I should focus on the action and not on the fruit of the action. I should focus on being the best I can at my music. I should focus on being as disciplined as I can, on constantly showing up, and not focus on the outcome. I should not focus on, oh, who is listening to this, who's not listening to this, who's reviewing this, because the outcome is out of my control. All that I should focus on is what I can do, so that's in my control. Now, this is 2025, we started making music again, we started falling in love again, and we started to record our third album, which is appropriately titled Love. Now we're in the process of making our third studio album, and every song on the album is gonna be a collaboration with a different artist in the scene. So we're super excited for that to come out. This whole journey of me starting music and falling in love with it, and then taking it too seriously, and then not taking it seriously, and then falling in love with it again, it really helped me understand that making music, that's what my purpose is. That's what truly makes me happy. In Japan, they have this concept of ikigai. Ikigai essentially is comprised of 4 parts. There's what you're good at, what you love, what the world needs, and what you can get paid to do. So if you put these 4 things together, that is your ikigai, and your ikigai is your purpose. My ikigai is to make music, and if I could find my ikigai, I know you can too. I'm Willy Ojiro. Thank you for listening.